President Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne, thanks for joining us this morning. We just showed some of those denials from the president, from the vice president, Don Jr., about any contacts. Back in December, you also denied any contacts between the campaign and Russians. I want to show our audience.
Absolutely not. And I discussed that with the president-elect just last night. Those conversations never happened. I hear people saying it like it's a fact on television. That is just not only inaccurate and false, but it's dangerous.
Does the president-elect...
And it does undermine our democracy.
It did turn out to be a fact. So who misled you, and why did Don Jr., Jared Kushner, and Paul Manafort allow those public denials to stand for so many months?
So as I understand it, George, some of the disclosure forms have been amended since that time and to reflect other meetings, including this one. I think that Tom Yamas, your colleague, put it best. He said that these were vague and ambiguous statements, that Don Jr. was not aware of the lawyer's name before he got there, and that the conversation quickly changed to what seemed to be the entire purpose of the meeting for that woman, which was Russian adoption. No information was received that was meaningful or helpful, and no action was taken. There was no follow-up whatsoever.
By his own admission, he sought the meeting, he agreed to the meeting because she was promising damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Isn't that at minimum an attempt at collusion?
No, and your colleague, Cecilia Vega, even said yesterday, as others responsible people have said, including members of the Obama administration under oath, there's no evidence of collusion. We're constantly talking about collusion that doesn't exist. I have to stop you right there because, Kellyanne, that is not what Cecilia Vega said. Cecilia Vega was asked about that yesterday morning. That was before Don Jr. admitted that he sought the meeting to get damaging information on Hillary Clinton. That was when Don Jr.'s statement was simply that this was a meeting about adoption. That changed in the previous hours when he changed the story. And are you saying that there's evidence of collusion? Because everybody's trying to convert wishful thinking into hard evidence, and they haven't been able to do that. Let me get back to what you asked me about this meeting. I don't think you had to go very far, respectfully, to find damaging information or negative information about Hillary Clinton. She was a gusher at all times of negative, damaging information. Your own polling showed that a majority of the country didn't trust her at the time, that she had no honesty and integrity. I didn't have to look far as the campaign manager starting the next month to find damaging information. We would just quote her. People admit now she lit $1.2 billion on fire. She had no message that connected to America the way Donald Trump did. So there's no evidence of collusion.
You're changing the subject here. Let's go back to the original question.
No, I'm not. This is the subject. Is there collusion? Yes or no?
Number one, why did the administration allow these denials to stand for so many months?
The people involved in the meeting could answer those questions better for you. But as I understand it, George, people's disclosure statements have been amended to reflect meetings such as this. And Don Jr. came forth this weekend and gave more information about the meeting. He also made very clear that no information that was meaningful and helpful was gained from this. We have many different meetings in a campaign. Some of them are unhelpful and not particularly meaningful. But I'm sure you can relate to that.
But Kellyanne, that's beside the point. He was seeking the information. He was seeking the damaging information. That's why he had the meeting. How is that appropriate?
George, he was told that there would be information that may be helpful to the campaign. There was no such information. But again, I want to ask you a question. If we're going to keep using the word collusion, where is the evidence of collusion? What just happened last week is that you had Putin and Trump had a conversation. That's meaningful. They brokered a ceasefire in part of Syria. They talked about cybersecurity. The first order of business for President Trump that he pressed Putin on was interference in the election. Meddling in the election. Exactly what many in the media said would never happen. The president made it the top priority and reportedly pressed him several times. So the conversation's real, the collusion's not.
We know from Don Jr.'s own admission that he sought the meeting with the Russian because she would provide damaging information with Hillary Clinton. How can you say that is not at least an attempt at working with the Russians to hurt the Clinton campaign to help the Trump campaign?
Two quick things. He did not seek the meeting. If you look at his statement, he said that the meeting was requested of him and he agreed to the meeting. That's different.
Because she was going to give damaging information about Hillary Clinton.
He didn't even know her name, though, George. He had no idea who this person was until she entered the room. He said that also in his statement.
But he believed she was bringing damaging information about Hillary Clinton. That's why he agreed to the meeting by his own admission.
She didn't have it. Look, the only people who had information about Russia meddling in say, summer of 2016, did not work in the Trump campaign. They worked in the Obama White House. They were briefed, according to the Washington Post, about this kind of information and did absolutely nothing because they never thought Donald Trump would win. Number two, no meaningful information was received, no action was taken. When I became campaign manager, nobody said, oh, we have to turn over this file to you of this fabulous information. There's nothing like that. We were talking to people in Michigan, not Moscow. And I think it's important for people to know that.
Kellyanne, we have to go. The information was sought from the campaign, and those denials were allowed to stand for many months. That's the bottom line. Thanks very much for your time this morning.
I wasn't in the meeting. I wasn't in the meeting, but people amended their disclosure forms, and I think the big bombshell this morning is Jim Comey disclosing confidential information, conversations he had with the President of the United States in his, quote, private memos. That's something Americans should really focus on.
Kellyanne Conway, thanks very much.
Thank you.